Hi guys, welcome to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the PvP tier list for all the classes in Diablo 4. If you guys end up liking this video and want to see more PvP content for Diablo 4, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and drop a like on this video, and leave a comment down below on which class you're going to be maining and how you think it's going to perform. Or if you see any of these classes I put on this tier list, tell me if you disagree or you agree. Let me know. I can't wait to have these conversations with you down below. Now let's get into this. I want to start with the class that I know is going to be S tier. Okay, this class is going to be good. I think it will always be S tier, and I think the only thing that would ever make it drop is if they nerf, let's say, a skill, or they nerf its survivability and its damage. And that class is going to be the Rogue. Now, I'm pretty sure for a lot of people, the Rogue being S tier does not surprise anybody. I think going into this game, in terms of PvP, we all had Rogue as the S tier class. Rogue is going to be S tier for many reasons. I went ahead on D4 Builder and just kind of like made some quick PvP builds. Again, these aren't 100%, so take these with like a grain of salt. I would not copy and paste this. This was just me trying to like examine like skills that the classes have. So when I talk about it, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. But let's get into it. So, it has a pretty good attack puncture. It's a nice range. You could go with any of these. I don't know about a bow build, but I feel like the rogue performs better if you're in people's faces. But I just went with puncture here just so it's like a little ranged ability, so you have some distance you can make between you and your target. Twisting blades, we don't need to talk about it. It's going to be good in PvP. It's good in PvE. And something you guys have to remember too, this tier list that I'm making is not really based off 1v1s. This is more based of like a PvE slash PvP environment. Because something you guys have to remember is going into here, we're going to be fighting players as well as fighting PvE. So your build needs to in some way be able to handle both, but obviously be able to do a lot of single target damage to kill the players. Now, some of these key passives are insane, like gain 12% damage reduction while close, um, heal for 3% of your maximum life when you critically strike close enemies. Again, as a rogue, you have a lot of ways to get crit, and I'm going to show you like more of the guaranteed ways to get crit. And then for here, critically strike an enemy against you, 15% movement speed. Again, like I said, this class is all about being fast, hitting hard, and having a lot of crit. Caltrops. I feel like for this, Caltrops is going to be very, very OP for PvP. I think it's going to be such a good crowd control. And the fact that it slows and it's doing like a little dot damage over time is going to make this ability super good and super annoying. And then, like I said, enemies take 3% increased damage from you each second they're in Caltrops. So, again, it's lasting 6 seconds, so they're going to get 18% increased damage on the last hit while they're in there. Again, I don't really know how big the radius is. I didn't really get to play Rogue that much during the open beta, so I couldn't really tell you from experience how big it is. But again, if you're maybe like fighting, or maybe you're 1vxing in like a close environment and people are like inside a building and you throw this, I think this is going to be very busted. This is going to help you out a lot. And then again, Caltrops can make enemies vulnerable. Okay, so that is going to be insane. And then also, like, again, some of these passives right here, gain 15% damage reduction against overtime effects. Again, this is going to be awesome because you want to survive. And gain 18% damage reduction while inflicted with crowd control impaired. Again, passives like this is what really makes some of these classes very good for PvP. Because again, the goal for PvP right now is you have to think of, you have to have a good damaging abilities, you have to have good crowd control, and you have to have good abilities that are going to give you like survivability slash mobility, right? Those are the three things you need to consider. And then the fourth thing as well, I would also throw in there, is a gap closer. I think gap closers are very good. They're really going to help you. They're going to help kind of prevent enemies from like escaping, and like, because that's probably the most frustrating thing when fighting people, especially like in games like this, is like you're going after somebody and then you see them and like they're about to die, but let's say they get away and you can't get to them because you can't close the distance, and they're able to rebuff up, reshield, reheal, and then you're back to square one starting them from 100% health. Again, nobody wants to do that, so you're gonna want to invest in gap closers. And then also, like I said, perks like this, like when you're CC'd and you can't do anything, if you can get damage reduction, it's gonna help you out a lot. And then after knocking back or knocking down an enemy, you gain 5% increased critical strike chance against them. Again, any chance that you can increase the crit, you want to go for that. I'm going to put a point in there because, like I said, I made this like in 5 seconds. So like I said, don't take these builds like as 100% legit. Your evade cooldown is reduced by half a second when you daze an enemy. Again, there's going to be many ways you can daze the enemy, even in this build. And then I went ahead and went with Weapon Mastery because I feel like this is going to be very good. Like increased damage against healthy targets, swords increase damage. And then again, if you want to go down the bow build, you have ways to increase damage and even increase critical strike. So bow build in PvP might actually be pretty good. So I didn't make one. I just kind of went through like I think the basic thing I think everybody's going to do. But yeah, but that's pretty good. And then getting over here now, when using a cooldown, your dodge chance is increased by 12%. Again, like any chance that you can have to avoid abilities, always take it. While stealth, you heal for 9% of your maximum health per second. Now, this is what I'm talking about with the rogue, why the rogue is going to be S tier. It's going to be this perk right here, Concealment. Now, this allows you to go invisible and vanish. And I know people are going to sit there and say, Concealment is not a perk that's going to be like so broken. Like, they're going to be like, I can see the person invisible. It's not that strong. You're not using it just so you can't like be invisible. You're using it for the perks that it gives you, because these are going to synergize here, you know, healing and you get a dodge chance. So again, and you're using a cooldown because this is a cooldown ability, so they synergize well. On top of that, you're going to gain 40 energy when entering Concealment. So this is going to help you to attack. Twisting Blades, like any DPS move you want to do, you just gained so much mana, like so much resource right here. And that's something you want to think about too, is resource management. And that's why I think this class is going to do well, because this class does better when you attack. The more you attack, the better your regeneration is. And then when you break Concealment, it's a guaranteed critical strike. Like I said, this is going to be so busted. Again, I'm not a rogue main, so I may not have maybe picked the best ability here or maybe up here for this. But for all you rogue mains out there, like really, this move right here needs to be in your PvP build. I even think this move needs to be even maybe your even PvE build, just for survivability and damage and overall mobility. I think that's amazing. And then we went with Shadow Imbuement here for the imbuement. Reason being is really for this one, each time you kill an enemy with Shadow Imbuement, you generate 30 energy. Again, this is to help you in like the PvE/PvP environment. You could definitely change this as well. And then Shadow Imbuement primary explosions make enemies vulnerable. Again, making people vulnerable increases your damage against them, which you want to try to get as much damage against enemies as possible. And then you have 50% chance to increase critical strike chance against injured enemies infected by Shadow Imbuement. So again, just another way to increase crit. I think that's what's going to make this class super good. And then right here, imbued skills gain 9% increased critical chance. So again, like I said, you have so much crit on this build, you have so much damage, you even have guaranteed crit, you have guaranteed stealth, you have guaranteed healing. Like, there's not a lot of classes in this game that have guaranteed like healing and guaranteed crit on top of that. Now for the ultimate, I went with Death Trap, and the reason why I went with Death Trap is because I think this ability is going to be amazing, because it's going to really allow you to like lock down a position. I think Rain of Arrows is going to be good, but I feel like against good players, they're going to run out of the way or do something. And then Shadow Clone, I really want to see how hard it hits in PvP. But I think overall for like your safe bet, this one is going to be good. And if Death Trap kills an enemy, its cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. Again, and then like I said, this is like an AoE CC ultimate. You just drop it, it's going to pull everybody in. And then for this last perk right here, I just went Momentum. Again, I'm not a rogue main, so maybe I picked the wrong one here, but with all these skills that it has, its mobility, it's guaranteed crit chance, it's guaranteed healing. Like I said, this whole combo right here, just for PvP alone, and right here is what's going to make this class super busted in PvP. Again, like I said, no matter what build you make for PvP for Rogue, this little area right here, this is what you need right here. So with that being said, let's move on to the next class. And I think the next S tier class is going to be, it's going to have to be the Barbarian. Now, some of you might be saying, why would you make the Barbarian S tier? I'm going to make this one a little quicker because I don't want to drag this video out too long. But just to kind of go over like what Barbarian has to offer in its toolkit. Barbarian has high damage, right? It has very good gap closers, and it has the ability to slow and bleed. And it has the ability to bleed through its technique, which if you go with a two-handed sword, your direct damage skills inflict 20% damage of bleed over 5 seconds. And then if you go over to hamstring, your bleeding effects slow enemies by 10%. Again, I put 1 point in here. Like I said, don't look at these as as like guaranteed information like on how you should make your build for your barbarian. Like I said, I literally just made all of these before I started recording. But the reason why Barb is going to be good is because it has the ability to bleed and it has the ability to slow. And the thing is, you don't even have to even invest in that play style. You just need to put one skill point and put your technique into it, and that's it. And then the rest is just play how you want. I think for PvP, that's going to be busted. Now, again, you have a gap closer. You have leap and you have lunging strike. Now, you could get rid of lunging strike and go with any of these. I just went with lunging strike because as many opportunities as I have to close the distance with my opponent, I want to do that, because the goal with Barbarian is to just be aggressive. Be aggressive, bleed your opponent, slow them down, do not let them escape. This class, I'm telling you guys, is going to be super, super annoying. Like, unbelievably annoying. That's why I'm saying it's like maybe in contention. Like, if I was to make like a super hardcore tier list, I might even put Barbarian above Rogue, just because of the fact that Barbarian is going to be tanky. And then on top of that, where is it? I think it's Rallying Cry. Yeah, when you Rallying Cry, you get increased movement speed, and you get resource regeneration. You get unstoppable while it's active, and you generate resource. Again, you're unstoppable for, what is that? For 6 seconds? Oh no. Yeah. Like, that's pretty wild. And then where is it? And you can increase your maximum life as well in this class. On top of that, this class has 10% damage reduction at base. Without investing anything into it, the devs gave it a 10% damage reduction. Now, there's one more skill I wanted to talk about for Barbarian, why this class is going to be busted. Great. Now I'm going dumb. I'm so sorry, guys. I cannot find it. Where is it? It was here. Hold on. I know it's a skill I pumped all the way. Oh yeah, here we go. So Raid Leader, your shouts heal you and your allies for 3% of their maximum life per second. Again, this works. Okay, this ability right here, works. So this is going to be your shout right here. It's going to last for, as from what I see, 3 seconds, if I'm reading that right. Yeah, it's going to last for 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds. So after 6 seconds for you. So with 6 seconds, God, I can't speak. And you're going to heal for 3%. That's 18% of your health back. And then I believe we went with a buff to increase our shout duration. Yeah, increase our shout duration by basically a quarter. So we essentially added about an extra second. So you're going to get about 20% of your health back every time you shout. And again, your shout is only on a 25-second cooldown. So you can heal like 40% of your missing health like every minute. Again, that is busted. Busted. That is why Barbarian will be S tier. It can slow, it can close the gap, it can heal, it has built-in damage reduction, it even has skills to increase that damage reduction, and like I said, it has the ability to bleed you and do passive damage to you without you even like trying to do anything. Now, the next class we're going to go into, and this might be controversial, I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I'm going to put Sorcerer in the A tier. Now, the reason why Sorcerer is not going to go into the S tier is because Sorcerer in this game unfortunately has to generate its mana by dealing damage with certain like specifications going into it. So you either have to like hit burning enemies, or you have to chill them, and it kind of limits you, and you're kind of limited on the build. And Sorcerer performs better with multiple targets versus bosses, and you really feel that in the early game. That's why Sorcerer early game feels so good, because you can get a group of enemies and just nuke them. But if you take the Sorcerer against the boss, you don't really feel like you're just like, I don't know, like in World Tier 2 when I was playing my class, I did not feel like I was melting bosses. I was watching my friend Chandler play the Rogue. He was just destroying, like he was the main DPS guy. I was just there providing vulnerability and trying to just like add damage. Again, I could have been playing it completely wrong, but Sorcerer feels really good. But I feel like for PvP, because of its attack speed and the fact that it doesn't really have a gap closer, it's really hindering like its placement. Now again, I know people are going to say it has the ability to teleport, but the problem with teleport is it does not, it's busted on mouse and keyboard versus controller. If you're playing on MNK, you're going to travel the map. If you're playing on controller, you're going to go like 10 feet. And there's a video on YouTube, you can look it up, like it's called Teleport, Diablo 4, like Sorcerer teleport, mouse and keyboard versus controller, and you'll see it. It's night and day difference. It's insane. You can map, and you can even go across barriers with it on PC. Again, I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work, or it's busted, but that's why like it's going in the A tier. Now, just to go over some abilities and why, and some hidden talents, I think this class is going to be busted in PvP as well. Is this is kind of the build I think I'm going to run. I'm going to do Spark instead of Arc Lash, because again, like I'm not trying to be next to people, and I'm really going with like a lightning build for PvP. Like I said, not using teleport in the build because I would rather have like 3 damage abilities, like a CC, a shield, and I'd rather be able to use my ultimate. Again, you might be looking at this saying, why Inferno and not this one? I don't like RNG ultimates. I just want like, hey, I'm gonna hit a button. I know what it's gonna do. It's gonna get the job done. It's gonna crowd control. It's gonna cause burn. And like I said, with this setup, you can kind of invest a little bit in burning skills. Like this one right here, I can heal. So players are considered elites and bosses, if you guys didn't know that. So, well, actually, players are considered elites, right? And bosses are considered elites as well. But I don't know if maybe in PvP it's counted the same. But that's what the dev said. So if I'm fighting somebody in 1v1 and I apply burn to them, I'm going to be healing like for like almost 2% of my health a second that I'm by them. And I'm pulling this off by using Firebolt. I think Firebolt as my enchantment is going to be OP. And then this one right here, Flame Shield, is going to be super, super meta. I hate that I'm making this video and I'm telling you guys all this because I know every sorcerer in PvP is going to copy this combo right here. I mean, they may not copy Firebolt, but if you're going to PvP on a sorcerer, you need this. And I tested this in the beta. So your skills that you actually have activated in your ultimate setup will proc these abilities. So you get the movement speed, which we don't really care about, but we get the heal. So this right here works. So you don't have to have this ability slot. You just put in the enchantment slot and you put these 3 points into it, boom, you are healing. And then another thing too I wanted to talk about this class, like a nice little passive that we have is it right here? Every time you spend 100 mana, you gain damage reduction. This is going to be nice. This is going to help to counter Glass Cannon. And then using a cooldown gets to 30% of your maximum life as a barrier for 2 seconds. Again, as a sorcerer, we're trying to generate shields. So we have a shield. We have active shields being used through cooldowns. We have shields being activated upon critical damage. And we have our own shield that we can throw up whenever we want. We have our CC that can cause vulnerability. And these are some of the reasons why Sorcerer is really going in the in the A tier class. Sorcerer, I really just want to play it and I want to see how it plays. It could be S tier. I'm not saying it could never be, but I think Sorcerer will always be an A tier class. I don't think it'll fall below because Magic is generally very strong in a lot of games. So I expect Sorcerer to fall within this category. But for right now, A tier because I'm going to be super hard on Sorcerer because it will be my main going into the game. Now the next class that's a little spicy pick, and I'm just unsure about, is going to be the Druid. Now, the Druid is like, I'm mixed between putting it at A and B tier, because Druid can be very tanky and have a lot of damage and have a lot of crowd control. And, we're going to put it in A tier. We're going to put it in A tier. And the reason I put Druid in A tier is because Druid has the ability to be super tanky, have a lot of sustain, and deal a lot of damage. Again, I know Druid's been being memed on a lot in PvP, and not in PvP, like in PvP, people have been memeing on it saying it's not good, it sucks, 17 damage, like we've all seen the meme on YouTube going around everywhere. But it's like the devs were saying, we have not got to see what this class is like with its with its class talent, and we also haven't got to go further down the skill tree and get all those passives, get those paragons, get the better legendary aspects. Like there's a lot we haven't done with a lot of these classes to really see how they feel. But in the planner, I was just messing around. I was trying to make like a Bear Vines PvP build, and this is what I would run. For all your Druid mains out there, you might laugh and say this is dumb, this wouldn't work, but Druid is going to be the second class that I play and try to make a PvP build. And I'm thinking if I play Druid, I'm gonna kind of hone in on the whole like being a shapeshifter. I was gonna go down the lightning mage route, but I was like, it's a shapeshifting class. Let's play a shapeshifting class. Excuse me. Now, some of the things about this class that I want to talk about and why I'm putting it in A tier. So you have Trample, right? Trample is going to be your gap closer, and on top of Trample, Trample has the ability to where is it? I think it has... Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, so Trample, you can knock back and you become unstoppable. Again, this is going to be your nice gap closer, and this is also going to help like with your mobility. With debilitating roar, I didn't really put a point in here because I was messing around, but I would probably go with the slowed, or maybe the heal. I don't know. It's like hard to pick because like I don't main this class, so I don't really know like where I'm gonna need like a lot of the help from. But this skill right here, I think it's gonna be why you're gonna find Druid very annoying in PvP, and it's gonna be because of Poison Creeper, because this is your like AOE CC. And again, like your critical strike chance is increased by enemies who are strangled in Poison Creeper. This is great. This is going to help with its damage. And like I said, I'm focusing in on one aspect of this class, and that is the shape-shifting bear build. Because something with Druid is Druid has so much like in the shape-shifting category. Again, I might have done maybe better like messing around and actually like playing both shape-shifting and like werewolf and werebear, but I just went on the werebear route. I don't know why, I just caught my attention a little bit more. But some of these passives gain 15% damage reduction after using defensive skill. Again, you're going to be using this roar right here to reduce enemy damage dealt by 70%. This is huge. This is massive. This is why this class is going to be so annoying. Like, you guys understand the fact that it's going to be able to CC, the fact that it's going to be able to like stun you, it's going to have a gap closer. What else do we have in here? We have the Grizzly Rage. Grizzly Rage, you're also unstoppable. You can't be CC'd. You become tanky. You get damage reduction. You deal increased damage. Druid has, I think, very good potential in PvP. And that's the thing too about shapeshifting into like these forms. When you go into these forms, you're a lot stronger than your human form. So we have to really see how this plays out. Again, damage is nerfed in PvP by 93%. So like I said, like we're really just gonna have to see. That's why I don't really know where I'm gonna put Druid, but I'm predicting Druid is gonna be in the A tier. And then the class that we're left with is Necromancer. This class is going to go in the B tier, okay? And the only reason why I say that is because it has potential to be S tier, but I'm putting it in the middle of the tier list for right now until I actually see it in action. And the reason why I say this is because for the Necromancer, we're really going to have to see like how strong the minions will be in PvP. If the minions are actually hard to kill and they're dealing good damage and they are being super annoying, then that's going to immediately put this class in the A tier without a doubt, or even the S tier. Again, like I said, we have to see how a lot of this goes. I kind of went with a bone build for if I was to make a Necromancer, and the route that I took for this setup is, like I said, bone. And like, and my opinion for like how I'm going to like burst damage people is probably going to be like, I'm going to try to bone prison them. I'm going to drop Iron Maiden, and then I'm going to cast Bone Storm, and then I'm just going to wail on them with my DPS. That's going to be my burst combo. Like, I'm going to try to bone prison them and like have them in my area. I'm going to drop Iron Maiden so like I can deal because like when enemies are afflicted by Iron Maiden, they take 10% damage each time they deal direct damage. So again, that is going to be insane, and it's going to be a nice way to put like a dot on them. And then also right here, enemies affected by Iron Maiden. When 3 or more enemies are affected by Iron Maiden, its damage increases by 15%. Again, like I said, we're talking about a PvE environment, and that's why I went Iron Maiden, because this ability right here, you're going to be able to go in. Let's say the fight takes you into a crowd. You could drop Iron Maiden. Boom, its damage is increased, and you're going to be hitting a lot harder, and they're going to be a lot weaker. And I kind of went with this because this is kind of like a nice random, like, hey, if a corpse forms, I just created a slow /CC. I think this is going to be a good ability. It's going to be pretty nice. And there was like another thing I wanted to go over. So you have reduced damage with distant enemies. You deal 9% increased damage to cursed enemies. Again, this is what I'm talking about. You want to keep them in your Iron Maiden, trap them in the Bone Prison, and then you want to drop your ultimate on them. Increased damage reduction by 18%. Yeah, like, I think that, and that's the thing too. It's like with Necromancer, I feel like the key to playing this class is going to have to be like actually holding your ground. I remember seeing on Twitter, Rod Ferguson was saying he got like a shield that had thorns. So I feel like building into like a thorns like tanky Necromancer would actually be the play, because because I feel like with Necromancer, because you don't have like mobility, like all 4 of these classes besides Necro have mobility. Like the Rogue has 2 types of mobility skills. Barbarian has like lunging leap. It has, you know, it has leap. Druid has, you know, it's trample. And I think Barbarian even has charge as well. Sorcerer has teleport. You know, so they all have ways to move around the map and be quick and, you know, move around. So that's why I think Necromancer is going to go in the B tier, because again, like I said, like it's a class I really want to see how it's going to perform when the game launches. Again, I know you guys are probably looking at this and saying, okay, he's got 2 in S, 2 in A, 1 B, none in C, none in D. The reason why I did this is because these are kind of my expectations. Like I have high expectations for a lot of these classes, and I want to give them, like, in my opinion, how I think they're going to do, you know. And then once the game launches and we play it and I fight some of these classes and I stream this, I'm going to be streaming 1v1s over on my Twitch. So if you guys want to jump on that, just follow me over on Twitch at Cal the Giant. I'll leave the link in the description down below so you guys can go give me a follow over there. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing 1v1s, and that's how I'm able to like really test and see how these classes are going to do. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was actually a long video. I wasn't planning on it being this long, but I wanted to kind of go into detail about a lot of these classes. I will be making an updated tier list a couple of weeks after the game releases, once I've had actual hands-on experience. But again, like I said, a lot of these builds that I made for these classes, I literally made them in like 2 minutes. So I didn't really take the time to consider armor, consider like uniques, things of that nature. I just kind of went off the skills and what I know. And remember, guys, when choosing your class for PvP, don't focus on the PvP part. You need to choose the class that you're going to have the most fun with, because in my opinion, and this is my hot take for Diablo 4, I think every class is going to be good at PvP. I think every class is going to have its unique play style, and they're all going to perform very well, which makes me excited. Obviously, there's going to be outliers in the classes, and some classes are going to do very well than others, etc., etc. Some counters might counter the other class. But again, like I said, I think Rogue is going to be S tier. I think Barbarian is going to be S tier. I think Sorcerer is going to be A tier with the potential to be S tier. I'm kind of really just want to see how hard the Sorcerer hit in PvP, and see how hard it is to actually fight a Barbarian and a Rogue as a Sorcerer. Druid has the potential to like be S tier, like really it does, or it could flop and go down to D tier. Like everyone's been saying that class is D tier. And then Necromancer, that's kind of that's really a wild card. This class could be very busted, or it could be pretty mid. So we just got to really see. Again, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a comment, leave a like, and please subscribe to the channel. Let's try to hit 100 subscribers before the launch of Diablo 4. Like I said, I will be hosting 1v1 tournaments. If you guys want to join in on those 1v1 tournaments, all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, go over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/CalTheGiant, and you guys give me a follow over there, and you guys will be automatically entered for life into any 1v1 tournaments that I will be hosting. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.